Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA Veteran Houston Alexander. Houston, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. It's been a long day.
Houston, you got a fight coming up at Resurrection Fighting Alliance 2 against Gilbert. How's training been going for the fight?
Training's been going well. I was training earlier, getting the last final touches with some of my hard sparring and hard training with my coach, Alexander. And man, it's going well. No injury, and then my wind is pretty good, so I'm ready to go.
Has it been a little bit easier for this training camp? Because your last couple of fights, outside of, maybe Sokaju and Razak Al-Hassan, have been against lesser-known guys with not a lot of tape on them. Has it been a little bit easier to prepare for Gilbert because he's fought in the UFC, he's fought in Pride, there's a lot of footage on him?
Well, no, it's not that is easier, man, out here, because in today's MMA world, man, everyone's hard, because everyone knows everything, and everyone's kind of fluid and everything. So I don't think there's footage out there, but it still doesn't prepare you for being in the ring with the guy. Anything can change, and I think the fact that he has a lot of experience, that's what you have to key in on.
You're known for knocking guys out. He's known for knocking guys out. Are you anticipating a slugfest in this fight?
I'm not for sure, man. I think we're both going to come out bombing on each other, but I think what it boils down to is going to boil down to conditioning, and I think it's going to boil down to who's more fluent and who's got the better transition. So we're going to slug it out, but it's also going to be to the point where I think conditioning is going to be a really big factor.
Do you think that might have the edge in the conditioning just because you've been fighting at 205 a lot longer than he has?
Well, I'm not thinking that we have the advantage, again, because everyone's different, and everyone always brings their A game with me. I don't know what it is, but everyone always brings their A game with me. But, I know that fighting at 205 and hanging around that weight, I'm a lot more, I'm in my comfort zone. If he's used to being heavier, maybe he's not going to be in his comfort zone, but, I'm not anticipating that,
Right. You're from Omaha, correct?
I'm originally from East St. Louis, Illinois, but I've been out there in Omaha since I was 8 years old, so I'm practically from here.
And this fight's going to be in Kearney, Nebraska. How close is that to where you're at?
A couple hours away, but, we have to support the whole entire state, so it doesn't matter. If you don't have your own hometown or home area locked down, then what could you do? So I think we got a whole area locked down.
Is it going to be a little bit easier for this fight because you're going to be, waking up in your own bed and driving to the fight rather than, flying across the country?
Yeah, I think it should be easier. Again, it's always easier. It was supposed to be easier in your hometown, but maybe I think sometimes it's more of an advantage if you're going out of town because you don't have so many distractions with all your people that are in town. So it can go both ways, but it just all depends on the individual. And I'm really focused, so I'm not worried about it.
Is this a one-fight deal with RFA?
I'm not for sure. They've already invited me to come back, but going from different organizations is pretty cool. And because you end up you can end up in any area of the country or out of the country. So I love the fact that I'm going to different places. But it'd be great. It'd be great to be able to an organization that's actually benefiting from me and me benefiting from them.
You're 4-2 with 1 no contest since you left the UFC. Is that a goal for you to get back there, or does it really not matter that much to you?
Well, you want to get to the pinnacle, of your sport, and then the UFC, being in the UFC is one of those things that it is a goal of ours to get back to prove to the world that we and myself and the coaching staff are contenders, man. And I know that I belong up there with the top guys. Even some of the showings with my fights, it showed progress and it showed that I'm a little bit better each time or each fight. So I know it'd be great. great to be there. But, we're kind of happy where we're at right now anyway.
You had a lot of momentum going. You beat Sokaju. You beat Rosales. How big of a setback was the loss to see Bosse?
No, I don't think it was a setback, because I think by the time, there was a lot of fights in 1 year. I think by that time, my body just was like, look, you've had enough. So, but it just happened to be, in that fight, and, I just happened to drop my hands at that particular time and got caught. Anybody gets caught, and, and again, the fight was a good fight up until that point. I got hit, and this guy, he broke his hand, so, it evened out. But he ended up getting the victory, so, I think it doesn't cut off the momentum because, I rested a little bit, gave me time to rest, and then gave me time to evaluate the situation and not to do so much. So, we're ready for the fight.
You were supposed to have a rematch with James Irvin at Shark Fights 14, but the fight didn't happen because I believe you had an injury and he failed a drug test. Was there bad blood with James Irvin, or was it just the fight came back together because, he had beat you and you wanted to avenge that loss, or is there some bad blood there? What exactly do you want that fight?
I don't think it was more so bad blood. I think it was more so, you got a lucky break and, into the fight, and we didn't get a chance to showcase what we had trained for. So, it was unfortunate. And again, it's one of those freakish things that happened, and we wanted to actually show the world that this is what how it would went. But unfortunately for us, this guy, he has this thing with drugs, and we know it just happened that I got injured. So maybe the fight wasn't meant. But if the fight ever came up again, I would sign on that line again. And that includes any fight with any previous person that I've lost to. Especially, guys, like Kimbo.
I was going to ask you about the losses that you had towards the end of your UFC run. What went wrong for you? Yeah. Was it game plans? Was it conditioning? What exactly caused, the losses and stuff like that?
It could have been a combination of a few things, especially with the media being hype and, people all in my face, and, and just concentrating more on the fight. I think it was, transition. I think it's learning the transition game and learning how to go from this and this without even thinking. And I think training more, the more training I did, the more thinking I did. And I think sometimes it's dangerous. Sometimes it's dangerous for you to think more in the fight instead of just flowing. I'd rather flow naturally than trying to think about something that someone's taught me. So I think the more I got into it, the more I was being taught all at once. I think my transition game was set back a little bit. So I think now doing it more flowing, I'm a lot more fluent on the ground. I'm a lot more fluent with my boxing, my jiu-jitsu, my Thai. So it all came together at this particular time.
What has life been like for you outside the UFC? Obviously the UFC is the largest organization for MMA in the world. There's a lot more exposure and stuff like that. But what has it been like for you, being out on the regional circuit?
It's really cool, man, because no matter where I go, it's still the recognition of, okay, that's the MMA fighter. I don't think I've lost any momentum at all. Not being in the UFC. I think it was a blessing being in the UFC at the particular time. But I think because of my story and because of what type of person I am, people gravitated to my situation and my story. So, I still have a lot of fans out there, and to me it's been great because I've been doing radio, public speaking. I still do, the program with my kids, and it's been great. It's been great for me.
If the UFC doesn't come calling, would you be open to going to, let's say, a Bellator? Because right now their 205-pound division, there's not a whole lot of guys in there. Would you be open to maybe going into a tournament?
Oh, yeah. I would love... I love to fight. Period. I love to get in the ring. I love to get to the octagon. And it's all great to get paid. It's great to get the recognition. But the bottom line is, you're in there to fight. And I
From what I understand, your birthday was 2 days ago, so happy late birthday. You just turned...
I appreciate it, man. I don't celebrate my birthday too much, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you just turned 40. I hope you don't get mad at me for saying that.
No, brother, no, it's all good, man. You know, I'm fortunate to have made it this far.
How much longer would you like to continue to fight? I mean, I know that you don't have as much mileage on your body as a lot of the other guys who have been fighting in this sport, but how long would you like to continue to fight? Because that's the popular question that fighters get asked when they hit that certain age.
You know what? You know, if Randy could sort of do it almost at 50 years old, man. As long as my body's healthy, as long as I'm conscious enough and quick enough to maintain myself in the ring and stay with the guys that are a little younger than I am, which I'm probably in better shape than anyway. I'll be just fine. So as long as my body, holds up.
And from what I understand, I was looking on the internet and I pulled up a profile of you, and now, from what I understand, your nickname is "We Have a Problem." Why have you decided to go with that nickname, and is that your new nickname?
I haven't decided to go with that nickname. I think that's some of the people that's some of the fans that are out there saying some of that. But I haven't went with that nickname. I've kept the same nickname that a friend of mine who gave it to me, who just passed away a couple of years ago. His name was Big Papa Stocky, and he was one of the first. He was the actual guy that gave me the nickname, and I decided to keep it versus changing it. So it was given to me. Most names are given to you anyway, and it stuck, and I'm going to stay with it.
That was the Assassin, right?
Correct.
Back in those Extreme Challenge days.
Extreme Challenge days. Back in I fought in arenas. I fought in rodeos. I fought outside. I fought inside. I've seen it all. That's why when I first got to the UFC, I don't think they knew I had all that experience. So I came out, in the audience for nice and calm because I was used to it. So it was that type of deal.
Houston, what are some goals that you still haven't accomplished in this sport?
I think one of the goals again, is to get to the UFC and to let the organization know and let the fans know of the UFC know that I am a force to be reckoned with. The same force they saw when I first came in. I want to show them guys that same force. And I want to show them the same excitement that that I had and they had when they saw me in the ring. So I think that's one of my goals. And another goal is to educate people about the sport. I think people still have this misconception about the sport, and it's this brutal, BS sport. It's actual beautiful sport. It's mixed martial arts, and one of the founding fathers, Bruce Lee, is to me is going to be one of the founding fathers forever. And if you like Bruce Lee, then you got to like what we do.
How does the fight end with Gilbert Ivel? What's your prediction for the fight?
There's going to be a lot of slugging, man. I believe there's going to be a lot of slugging, but I really do believe it's going to boil down to conditioning, and once the person drops their hands, somebody's getting knocked out, and I believe that we'll come into this fight well conditioned, and I believe we're going to be victorious in the end.
Houston, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank? Anything you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, man. I would love for the people to go to HoustonAlexander.com, hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. Shouts out to Rosales Bakery, Tommy Tires, and my family and friends, and my girlfriend. She's always supports me. So shouts out to those guys.
Houston, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck at RFA 2 against Gilbert Ivel.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for taking the time out. I got a busy day with kids training and just everyday life, man. So I appreciate you taking the time out